Hungry Freaks Daddy. Hello, it's just a break from the usual for me, and I'm going to um, well show my collection of Frank Zappa LPs, albums, 12-inch vinyl, collected over a number of years, probably, yeah, and I haven't bought any for a long time, but I've moved many times and always usually taken them with me. So, so here goes. In chronological order, of course. And the first one is Freak Out. I've just got the not the gatefold sleeve. It's a great record. This it wasn't the first one I bought, but in 1966, when it came out, it must have been a revelation for those who heard it. I don't think it sold very well. And of course, me being in the UK, in Britain, it wasn't easy for me to get many of these records because especially going back, this being one of them. So you just had to get what you could. You know, you could hold out for the gatefold, but it would cost you a lot of money. And I didn't have a great deal of money then. Of course, I don't have any now. I've probably got more. Probably had more then because I wouldn't be able to afford buying these now. But anyway, that's the first one. Great stuff. Great record. Great band at that time. Frank said they couldn't play that well, but I would beg to differ. Second one, absolutely free. Still, of course, the mothers of invention at that time. A bit more radio friendly, maybe, although it probably wouldn't get played on the radio. A bit more commercial, perhaps. The inside, there's the back sleeve. Again, a really enjoyable album, full of social comment. A society I didn't really understand, living here. You know. Third one, I think this is 1967. Of course, a parody of the Beatles, Sergeant Pepper's. I'm told that they weren't allowed to put that as the front cover because, for obvious reasons. But if you know Sergeant Pepper's, you know that this is more or less a copy. Well, not a copy, but a homage, perhaps. I think just taking the piss, actually. But another fantastic album. This I really love it. We're only in it for the money. Which again, you know, speaks volumes, doesn't it? And some really from the heart music. Very kind of rare for Frank, I think. Um, you know, you may disagree if you're a fan, but I think that is one of the only albums, in my opinion, where he sings truly from the heart. Anyway, next one was Lumpy Gravy. This album, I really struggled to get this one, and there was a music second-hand record shop in York on Gillygate, called Cassidy's, and I saw this hanging in the window when I was going past, and I was being driven by my boss in his truck, and I was going. I wanted to just jump out and get it, but I didn't have any money on me, and of course I would have been left behind. But not a favourite of mine, but some great tunes on it. A lot of talking and gibberish nonsense. But again, you know, I'm just so glad to have that in the collection. This one, Cruising with Ruben and the Jets, or Ruben and the Jets, is a doo-wop album, a music that Frank was very into. He was into all sorts of music, of course, but a genuinely doo-wop album. And if you didn't know anything about anything and you just got that, and you would think it was a band, a doo-wop band, but really good. This is definitely one of my favourites. It's probably the second Zappa album I heard. Uncle Meat, a double album and a terrific album. It's got a live side where there's just virtually King Kong. It's wonderful. And whilst I was playing this one night, some friends round, this couple I hadn't known them for a long time, maybe a year or so. And there's a track on here that's recorded at the Albert Hall. I think it's the Albert Hall. Maybe wrong. And what's his name? Sorry, yeah, terrible. The keyboard player. I should know. Ian Wood. Or is the other guy? Anyway, he's playing the Albert Hall organ. I don't think we were really supposed to. And immediately, this woman, she was considerably older than I was at the time. She said, "Oh my God, what's this?" And she was actually at that gig. Well, I just, almost messed myself because I was so excited that she'd been there. She was dragged along by her boyfriend at the time, didn't really know what was going on. Like she said, many of the gigs she'd been seeing Hendrix. And anyway, yeah, great memory for me. The next one is Hot Rats. This is no longer with the Mothers of Invention. I think he'd sacked more or less the whole band. He just kept a few of the players. Ian Underwood being one of them. I think that's the woman from the Cheetos, is it? In Frank's Empty Swimming Pool, I think that is. I don't know. Just guessing. But again, this album is a fantastic um, uh, tour de force of music for musicians, and anybody who likes sort of jazz, rock jazz. And of course, it's got a great vocal track, the only vocal track, where Captain Beefheart is guesting Willie the Pimp. The next one is Burnt Weenie Sandwich, another great album, fantastic music. What can I say? It's great, love it, played that a lot. Weasels Ripped My Flesh. Probably not one of my favourites. It's got some good songs on. Ian Underwood. It's Don Preston, of course, on the organ. Silly me. Art Trip on drums. Later to be in the Magic Band. It's very distinctive cover and crazy title for an album. But yeah, overall it's pretty good. Chunga's Revenge. This sees what they're called. The two vocalists from the Turtles joined Frank, and yeah, they're okay. There's some really good music on this, but not really one of my favourites. But good. Fillmore East. We're up to 1971 now. This is It's all right. I wouldn't say it's brilliant. It's got a version of uh, an instrumental version of Willie the Pimp, and yeah, Mud Shark. What's all that about? I think it's on. They're talking about Led Zeppelin. I think when. Anyway, you probably know more about that than me because I wasn't really that interested in that sort of thing. Shenanigans. This one is the soundtrack to the film 200 Motels, but it isn't really. It's just a few songs from it. It it's it has its moments, good moments and bad. Um, Ringo Starr plays Frank Zappa in the film. If you've seen it, it was revolutionary, or something like that, revelatory, because it was the first film, I think, or one of the first filmed on video, and that's a long time ago. Anyway, early 70s. Just another band from LA, again with Flo and Eddie. They're the guys from the Turtles, Carl Schenkel, and yeah, one side is Billy the Mountain. I don't. Uh, Pretty good. um, yeah, Eddie I Kid Call Any Vegetable live version of that, which is a great song, of course. Not a classic. Waka Jawaka. This is brilliant. Yeah, this is Hot Rats 2, going by the cover, and it could be said, but it is brilliant. Big Swifty, of course, one side again. That's a great piece of music. Yeah, Zappa. I wouldn't say peaking. There was peaks and troughs in his career, in my opinion. The Grand Wazoo, which is a massive band. I don't know how many pieces. It was teens of people. Well, there's most of them probably. Um, just great music. Um, but because of the expense of taking it on tour, he never did. I think he went on tour with a smaller ensemble of musicians, but a great work. Yeah. And then I think he changed record label. So I don't think that's discreet, but and a completely different feel to this. This is definitely more commercial. This is overnight sensation. Um, Great band, wonderful band. My favourite drummer, apart from John Bonham, in here, Ralph Humphrey. He's just so. Listen, if you're into the drums, just listen to this album. It will knock your socks off. And it also teaches the young lad about. Anyway, let's not go into that. Apostrophe, similar vein. I think the same band almost. Great band. Um, I love the guitar sound that he gets on both these albums. More rock orientated and really classic tunes on both of those. And then Roxy and Elsewhere. This is phenomenal. My wife bought me this. It's one of the ones I didn't have in my collection when we met. She got into Zappa because of me, and this was just like when it. She ordered it from a place in London, and when it came through the mail, I had no idea, and I don't know whether it was a birthday or Christmas present, perhaps, but I can't thank you enough. Thank you very much, my dear. Yeah, it's recently been 3 or 4 years ago came out on film that filmed the whole 2 nights, 3 nights being at Roxy, and it's really worth watching. But this, to me, is better. Some great players. Ralph Humphrey joined by oh, Chester Thompson, two drum kits, Ruth Underwood on percussion. You can't beat it. George Duke on the keyboards, Tom Fowler on bass, Bruce Fowler on trombone, Napoleon Murphy Brock on vocals. Brilliant. Um, this is an outstanding record as well. This is One Size Fits All. All the lyrics there. This has got Inca Roads. I mean, come on, doesn't get much better than that. George Duke, brilliant vocalist and keyboard player, and yeah, it's wonderful stuff. And then another really good one that I love, Terry Bozzio now on drums, and Captain Beefheart, because he's signed so many record deals, he can't get work anywhere. Nobody will produce his stuff, so he goes on tour with Frank. And Jimmy Carl Black is quoted as saying, "The best lead singer Frank ever had." I'm paraphrasing a little, maybe, but yeah, brilliant. I love this album. I think it's fantastic. Live, mostly, a few overdubs, I think. Um, and climaxing with Muffin Man, which is just very good, very fun. And then Zoota Lowers, another change of band, probably nearly almost. Terry Bozzio, still on the drums, and by all accounts, just like a mainly straight up rock record, really. Yeah, it's good. I mean, the guitar playing is fantastic. But, and then in New York, which it's got the Black Page, famously, which is it's called the Black Page because, of course, all Frank's musicians had to read, and the Black Page is so noted because it was just black with musical notes. And Terry Bozzio, it's a drum part, and Terry Bozzio had to play it, and he learnt it, and he plays it very well, I think. Completely beyond me, of course. Studio Tam. Um, yeah, well, Gregory Peccary is on this. He's pretty good. Take Me to the Beach, you might have heard that. It's been played on the radio. Um, to fill a contractual obligation, so they say, but it's pretty good. Um, Sleep Dirt. Now, Sleep Dirt, I've not really played this very much. It really didn't grip me. But there it is. Can't say that I haven't got it. And Orchestral Favourites, another one that I didn't really play very much. Probably quite in good nick. But it's got Duke of Prunes, the sort of different version of that. Yeah, Pedro's Dowry. They're all in pretty good nick, these records. Inside. Some of the covers aren't very good. Now then, this is unfortunately a digital remaster, but I just like I say, I had to get what I could. Shaky Booty. A different feel completely to Orchestral Favourites. Frank dressed as an Arab, I suppose. Shaky Booty, get it? Some classics on here. Bobby Brown. Broken Hearts for Assholes. I'm So Cute. Um, Jones Crusher. Baby Snakes. Dancing Fool. Jewish Princess. Yeah. And of course, loads of people just know Frank for sort of this or these series of albums. Joe's Garage. Joe's Garage, if you come from where I am. With all the bump inside, and yeah, that's a newish pressing. Same as this one. Acts 2 and 3. Yeah. What can you say? I mean, I couldn't listen to it now, I don't think. But this was slated when it came out. I think it's pretty good. It's one of the early ones that I heard. I didn't actually buy it sometime later. Tinseltown Rebellion. Um, The Blue Light. Was that the actual song? Probably not. Oh, I might just have to pause this because I've just been visited by my cat. Cheers. Anyway, this is a much enjoyable album. I enjoy it. I don't know whether I could enjoy it now so much, but at the time, I thought it was great. Excuse me. Ah, no, back. Tricky that. Shut up and play your guitar. It's good, but you know, I've listened to it 2 or 3 times, maybe that's all. One of those kind of ones that I had to have because I'm a bit of a completist. I like the cover. I like Gibson Les Paul custom looks very nice, but but yeah, I mean yeah, I think side 4 I like the best. You Are What You Is. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's funny. It's once or twice, and yeah, Harder Than Your Husband. Um, Jimmy Carl Black, guest vocalist. It's yeah, and Moon and Ahmet also sing on that. It's yeah, it's what it is. It's pretty good. And then Ship Arriving Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch. I think it's got Valley Girl, of course, on this, which Moon sings. Yeah, it's not brilliant. Not brilliant. And then we have The Man from Utopia, which mixed feelings. I bought this. I think I was on holiday in the Lake District when I bought this with a nice young girl. Um, I was very young as also at the time. 1983 was it? 84, something like that. 83. So yeah, I would have been 17. Um, and I just couldn't resist it. I saw it in the shop. I thought, bloody hell, that's been released. So I was a massive fan at the time, and it probably didn't peter out until I was in the late 20s. But I still enjoy Frank. Um, Them or Us, yeah, pretty good. Um, Stevie Vai on guitar. He was brought in because he could actually play the lead guitar parts that Frank wrote. Um, and he had a hard time getting into the band apparently, or the audition. He gave him a hard time in the audition anyway. But yeah, it's good. It's very modern sounding. Even now, it sounds pretty sharp and good production values, but not my sort of thing really. Thingfish. Now, this was bought on release also. I think this was 84. Um, yeah, Ike Willis, who is probably the one of the best vocalists Frank ever had, apart from obviously Captain Beefheart and Napoleon Murphy Brock, which I think is brilliant. He sings a lot of the tracks on the songs, rather, on Joe's Garage, and he is Kingfish. He puts on a sort of strange, not accent, but I can't remember what it's called now. But there's a type of new language that's been invented, and he talks through. It's actually a really good album, but mm, I don't know if I could listen to it all now. It's all about AIDS, by the way, and how it got to be. This is Francesco Zappa. Frank found some music, I think, that was written by somebody called Francesco Zappa in Italy in I think it was the 19th century. It could have been earlier. Anyway, it's I think it's all keyboard. It's all instrumental, or it's all computer music. I can't remember now. I haven't played this for ages. My wife actually really liked this one. Zappa meets the Mothers of Prevention, and that was all about the court case, I think, that he underwent, trying to. Well, they wanted. The idea was to um, categorize music. I think give it an 18 certificate. It had what they would say were like puerile content or bad language or whatever, so on. And there's quite a bit of that in there, I would think. I can't remember actually. Jazz from Hell. It got Frank was awarded some kind of accolade for this. I can't remember now what, but um, yeah, it's pretty good. This actually, it's pretty good. But phew, it's in the early days of electronic music, and well, it is kind of dated, even though I haven't played it for a long time. But it was dated when I last played it. This is guitar. Instead of shut up and play your guitar, this is just guitar, which is much the same as shut up and play your guitar. Um, it's good. I mean, Frank's guitar playing was extraordinarily good. He had a particular style. You could tell it's Frank when you hear him. Never, whether he's playing a Strat or a Telly or a Les Paul or whatever he was playing, an SG, of course, is famous for as well. He could always get something guttural, or he's not like anybody else. Um, marvelous, marvelous player. And he didn't start playing till he was about 18, so to say. So this is Broadway the hard way. I think this is 88 we've got to now. Sorry, I haven't been telling but it's all, you can look it up when they came out. Doesn't really matter. Well, it may do. But this is a bit sort of, it's actually like show tunes. It really is a Broadway musical album. It's pretty good, but not my sort of thing. Right? Now then, we get to that's the end of them actually. Apart from when I was 17, 18, I had a friend in Leeds. He was at university in Leeds, and he used to go into this record shop and then write me letters or telephone and say, "There's a bootleg. Do you want it?" And so I've got a couple of bootlegs here. This is them live in 1984. Carol, you fool. Um, Be in my video. He's so gay. It's kind of like can't. Does humour belong in music? A bit like that. I haven't got that actually. I have got it on video, of course, but I haven't got the CD. This is it says bizarre label, but it's not listed in any Zappa discography, so I don't really know. It could be a bootleg, but I don't think so. I think it's on the bizarre label, is it? Yeah, so it says. So I don't know, but it's the mothers, the old mothers. There they are. Roy Estrada. Roy Estrada. Yes, Roy Estrada, Jimmy Carl Black, Motorhead Sherwood, Don Preston, all those type of guys. Like also a picture disc. Can you remember them? Yeah, I've no. Oh, it's an interview. That's what that is. And this is a double album shoved into one sleeve. All you need is glove. And look at that naked titties. And an oven glove, of course, which all you need is glove. That's it. Done it on. I've done it in under half an hour, so I hope I didn't bore your tits off. Um, don't really listen to vinyl anymore because although I have a record player. I don't have any electricity, so I have to put the generator on. And anyway, all to come. It's all to come. I'm just kind of finding my feet here, and I hope somebody got something out of that. Goodbye.